Xiaomi recently released their new MIUI 7 firmware, and now I got my hands on the Xiaomi Mi4C, which is one of the latest devices from Xiaomi. And as the name indicates, the Mi4C is actually for the Chinese market, while the previous Mi4i was for the Indian. I'm s7yler, and this is my full review of the Xiaomi Mi4C from everbuying.net. So the question is, how does the Mi4C differ from the Mi4i? Well, let's see in this video, where we'll talk about the pros and cons and show you some of the new features. In terms of look and physical design, the Mi4C looks exactly like the previous Mi4i, so it is still a very compact and stylish phone. This is perfect for me as I love the 5-inch form factor. The version I got here is the standard version that comes with 2GB RAM and 16GB ROM. It has a 5-inch IPS 1 glass solution, 1080p Full HD display with sunlight display feature. It uses the Snapdragon 808 64-bit hexa-core clocked at 1.8 GHz and features a 13MP main camera and 5MP front camera, both with 2.0 aperture. Dual SIM and support for 4G LTE on both cards, but not at the same time. Out of the box it actually came with a modified MIUI based on Android 5, but I upgraded it straight away to MIUI 7 to get rid of some of the pre-installed bloatware. The only thing you have to notice is that the MIUI 7 is currently only available in English language, and that you will have to install the Google apps and Play Store manually afterwards. But that's also no problem. Some of the new features to mention are Edge Tap, where you just tap with the finger on the side to go back or take a picture with the camera. The USB Type-C with reversible connector and OTG support, Quickcharge 2.0 and a built-in IR blaster. Notice that the USB is just a 2.0 and not 3.0, so the transfer speed will not be faster. But compared with the previous Mi4i, the Mi4C is faster and both the CPU and GPU are clocked higher. Now let's have a look what's inside the box. So besides the phone, you get the micro USB Type-C cable and the wall charger. Let's just have a look first on the cable. We see here the micro USB Type-C. So this is reversible, so you don't have to think about when you connect it to the phone, while in this end seems to be a normal USB. And notice also that the phone does not support the USB 3.0, so the transfer speed will still only be in USB 2.0. Let's have a look on the wall charger. So as always, very nice quality. Let's see the specifications. And it's a 5V 2A, and this is a quick charger with Quickcharge 2.0. Okay, and let's see on some of the papers with an overview of the phone's buttons and the ports and so on. Saying 4C. On the back side we see a small pin to open up the SIM tray. And let me just remove the plastic here so we can have a closer look. And we also see here some in Chinese. And the SIM tray is a dual SIM tray. So that's it. Let's now have a look at the phone design. On the top we find the light and proximity sensor, a notification LED with multicolor, the ear speaker together with the 5MP front camera. The phone has a 5-inch Full HD IPS display with 441 ppi. And the screen is sharp with good brightness and vivid colors. In the bottom we find the menu, home and back buttons, which all are illuminated. On the back side, which is non-removable and made of matte soft plastic, we have a 13MP Samsung rear camera together with a strong dual tone LED flash and a noise cancelling microphone. Inside the phone we will also find a 3080 mAh battery. And last we have the rear speaker, which provides very good sound. In the bottom of the phone we find the new USB Type-C port and the microphone. On the right side we find the volume rocker together with the power button, and these buttons are very solid and easy to use. In the top we just find a 3.5mm headphone jack together with an IR blaster. And last, on the left side we find the dual SIM tray, which you have to open up with a small pin. And let's also have a closer look at the SIM tray. Let's have a closer look at the phone. So the phone supports double tap to wake, and that's a really convenient feature to wake the phone really quick. And we also see there are shortcuts, one for the Mi remote, or you can swipe to the left to start up the camera app. Let's try this out to the camera. Okay, and let me unlock. So here we see the UI, and I'm using MIUI 7. Let's try out the scrolling speed. And as you notice, I actually installed a lot of extra apps, test apps, as you notice here. There's no kind of app drawer, and that's typical for MIUI. So MIUI also supports themes. Let's go into the theme store, and you can see you can download different themes. Some are free, while others you have to pay for with Mi credits. But let's have a look at the stock apps on the phone. So all the apps you see here are stock in the ROM. We have Mi Remote, Theme Store, we have the music player, radio, security and calendar. We have the calculator and the app store and gallery and camera app. Let's see inside the folder. We also have more apps here and also some in Chinese. So I just put these away because I'm not using these. Let's see here. We have the Mi account, Mi notes, weather, Mi home, the recorder, Mi video and so on. And some extra test apps I installed myself. I have not really experienced any problems with the UI so far, and it seems to run okay. And you can also see that I have 5 icons in the bottom bar, and you can just slide these up here, slide one down. You can rearrange them like you want. I'm using 5 right now, so I like that. But you see the layout here is with 4, so that's also good. You can hold the button here to go into the menu, more apps, widgets, wallpapers and effects. See the transition for the pages. See widgets, wallpaper. Let me try out this one, for example. See the background. And to access the menu, you can also just swipe in. If you click one time, you will see the task manager, the multitasking overview. And these you can also swipe in to resize to small icons instead. And let's also have a close-up of the buttons. So you can see we have backlight in these, menu, home and back. And the UI of course also support the notifications on the icons. So for example on the mail icon you will get for example the number 2 if you have 2 new emails or SMS. Also the same for calls and so on. So that's pretty good. Let me also show you here the quick toggles, and you can scroll in these. Here the notifications will be displayed. You can manage notifications. You can block apps if you don't want notifications from these. Here we have settings. So I will go through the settings later. First of all, let me also show you the one-hand operation mode. Yeah. Okay, so you can see it here. Resized to one hand, so you can reach the corners. And let me also demonstrate one of the new features, the Edge tab. For example, if you go into the file manager, and here I will go into, for example, music, and I want to go back, so I tap twice on the side again. So when I tap here on the side, it's the same as the back button. You can also use it in the camera to take a picture. When I tap one time in the camera, you can see there's like a circle and it would register where I tap. And you actually do not have to tap that hard when you're in the camera. And next up, let me show you the viewing angles. Here from the bottom, from the side. So the viewing angles are really good, as on most Xiaomi phones. Very bright display, sharp and good colors. Let's also try out the torch LED flash. So these are dual LEDs on the back side, and these are really strong. You can see good light. And regarding the connectivity, Wi-Fi and network is excellent, as on most Xiaomi phones. There are no problems at all. Good Wi-Fi, good range and speed, it's always stable. And the Wi-Fi also support 5 and 2.4 GHz, so that's pretty good. You also see I'm using dual SIM right now. And one of the SIM cards is in full signal and the other one is on, I would say, 80 to 90%. So the R is because I'm roaming on one of the SIM cards. And the phone of course supports 2G, 3G and 4G LTE. But it will not be compatible in all countries. To check if this one here is compatible in your country, I recommend to go to the site called willmyphonework.net and check if your country and your carrier is supported by the phone. And notice also that this phone, as many Xiaomi phones, does not support band 20 for LTE. So that is something you just have to deal with. And next up, let's have a look inside the camera app. So the camera app looks like on all Xiaomi phones that we know. Let's scroll to the side, we see some of the settings. Beautify, fisheye and so on. Just scroll, we see the filters, color filters. Let's see inside the settings. Picture quality is high. It has Asian gender detection, face detection. You can set the volume buttons function and you can change the sharpness, contrast and so on. That's good. And let's try to go to the camera. Let's see what it says. Time lapse and also slow motion. Video quality up to full HD. And here also some indoor samples I made. Good colors, sharp picture. Let's zoom in here to view the details. Really nice camera. And here a low light picture outside in the dark. This one here was taken only with the LED flash on the back side in a totally dark room, just to demonstrate how strong the dual LED flash is. I have taken some more samples using the rear camera sensor in order to show you how the device performs. Take a look at these samples and be the judge yourself. The link to the samples can be found in the video description. But my personal opinion is that the main camera does very well. Especially in daylight the pictures look sharp and good. In low light it does struggle a bit to focus and the amount of details is not overwhelming. The front camera is enough for good selfies, but need good light if they have to be perfect. And let me also show you the sunlight feature. So right now you can see the picture here taken in the night is very black and dark. But as soon as I put light on the top, you can see now, actually it's more visible. You can see the details. You can see now it's dark again. Now it's lighter. Wow. So this is really working great. We see a lot of details. So that is what they call the sunlight display feature. Depending on the light on the phone, it will adjust the picture you are looking at. So the sound via the earphones may not be the best out, but should be more than enough to satisfy your ears. And now let's try out a test call. Let's check out the proximity sensor first. So this is working.
Press 1. To listen to your new messages, press 2. To listen to your saved messages, press 3.
Okay, let me try to test out the ear speaker up to the microphone.
To change your personal options, press 2. You have 0 new messages, 2 saved messages. To listen to today's messages, press 1. To listen to your new messages, press 2.
Okay, so that was the sound from the ear speaker, and as you can hear, it's loud and clear. No problems at all. So now let's have a look inside the settings. First of all, we see SIM card management, and you can set each card to mobile data, but not at the same time. Let's see, we have notifications. We have manage notifications. You can toggle the positions for the quick toggles. We have status bar, different options. Then we also find themes. Here local themes, and you can go online to download more themes. Then let's scroll further down. We see display. So here we have the double tap to wake. We have screensaver. We have some options for the display, brightness level. We also see here reading mode, colors and contrast, warm or cool or standard, automatic or increased contrast. Nice. And let's see inside sound. Suppress noise during calls using the dual microphones, the noise cancelling on the rear side. And we also find the child mode. Enable the child mode so the child can't do anything on the phone that you don't want. We have edge control. So I showed this before. You just tap on the side, also shown here, to go back or take a picture. Additional settings. So here we have language and input. Right now I'm using, as told, MIUI 7. It only supports Chinese and English. We also see one-handed mode, 4-inch or 3.5-inch. I also showed this, so let's go back. We see the storage. We see available and total. And it also supports USB on the go. We have some options for the notification LED, different colors, and for the headphone jack and the buttons. And let's scroll a little bit further. We have accounts, sync, system apps and installed apps. We have about phone. So here in about we can see some information about the build number, kernel, internal memory, RAM and CPU, and also the MIUI version, Android version 5.1.1, model number. Let's just check this. And let me open up the multitasking overview. So let me clear the RAM. And we see 675 megabyte of 2 gigabyte available. So not that much, because MIUI uses a lot of RAM, but still the UI is pretty smooth and good. But if you're doing a lot of multitasking, I think I would recommend to get the 3GB version instead, but of course that version is also more expensive, so it depends. And let's see inside the Mi Remote app. As you can see, I have added my Samsung TV and this is also working great. And now to the live GPS test. So actually the weather was really bad today, a lot of rain and so on. So I just tested this out from inside my house. And you can see the accuracy here is on 6 right now, on 5. In use 13, there is support for GLONASS. And here you can see that I tried to rotate the phone a little bit. So you could see that the compass is also activated. And the whole screen also rotated around, as you noticed. We see now down on 4 meters in accuracy. 12 to 14 was in use. They can jump a little bit up and down sometimes because, as told, the weather was really bad and this was tested from inside my house. But a very good and stable GPS. The accuracy is not bad at all. Now I'm going to run some different test apps and show you some results. I will also test a game, and as always I will turn up for the background music, so let's check it out. So this is the end of the video, and let me now tell you some of the pros and cons. First to the pros. It has a nice compact design and the build quality is very high. It is also nice to see that it has a multicolored notification LED and capacitive buttons with backlight. The full HD IPS display is very sharp and bright and has great viewing angles. The Wi-Fi and network reception is top, always stable and fast, and the phone is also fully loaded with built-in sensors, and it also has 10-point multi-touch, so the hardware is excellent. So my version came out of the box with a modified MIUI and Multilanguage, Google Apps and the Play Store, but I updated it manually to MIUI 7 and therefore I had to reinstall the gaps manually myself and live with that the phone now only runs in English. But the phone runs perfect and smooth without any kind of hiccups or lag that I actually did experience sometimes on the previous Mi4i. The new features, Edge Tap, IR Blaster and the use of the new USB Type-C makes it very convenient in use. And last, the camera is good and provides some nice high quality photos, and I think it is about in the same class or level as on the Mi4i. So to the cons, the 2GB RAM is a little bit in the low end because MIUI alone uses a lot of RAM, but still it is always smooth and fine for normal usage. But if you are multitasking a lot beyond the usual, then I would recommend the advanced version with 3GB RAM instead. The phone has a non-expandable storage, so you have to live with 16GB in the standard or 32GB storage in the advanced, depending on the version you pick and how much money you will spend on a phone. Also, the phone with shipping, tax and everything from China is not especially cheap, but still I think the price is fair compared to what you actually get. And last, as nearly all the Chinese flagships, the phone has no LTE 4G band 20 support, but will of course still work on other supported bands and also 3G, so that is something you just have to deal with. Well guys, that's it for the review. Remember also to check out my blog. You'll find the link in the video description. If you have any questions, please comment below, give a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next one.